backing up. Talking trash, better back it up. I'ma make my money while they laugh at us.
What is going on? You're tuning into Inventing Entrepreneurs, a show where we bring on emerging entrepreneurs to talk about them inventing their vision of success. Did pretty good that time.
Trust me.
Getting better every week. I'm your host, Brian Events, joined by my co-hosts, Oscar and John.
Pleasure, guys.
What up?
What up? Very quiet today.
Yeah, super quiet. We're joined in the studio today with Christian Johnson, founder and CEO of Driver Watchdog. How's everything going? Thanks for coming in the studio.
Very good. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, you've been doing some pretty cool stuff.
Heard a lot about you. It's going to be fun.
Thank you. It's
So-
going to be fun.
We made a connection through Tom Murdoch from
Right.
UB.
Mm-hmm.
He said that you're someone that we have to have on the show, so
Must.
yeah, so we're
Tom.
excited. So I guess let's
Thanks,
start.
Tom.
What are you doing right now? So where are you with Watchdog? What led you to start it?
What led me to start
Yeah.
Driver Watchdog? Well, I have a teenage son. Well, I had a teenage son when I started this, and he started to drive. And, we just started seeing all these distracted driving accidents. And I don't know about you guys, but every time I'm in the car, you can look over and you'll see somebody like literally looking at their phone. Or I saw a woman yesterday eating like crab legs in her car. How
How crazy? How do you eat crab legs in a
how
car?
do you do that? So
The typical guy reading the book or the newspaper.
yeah, putting on makeup,
Yeah, someone
whatever
put on
you're
makeup.
doing. There's so many ways
It's
that
not
you
just
could be
texting.
distracted. Yeah, it's not just texting. And so I was just, being a parent, freaking out about him driving. Obviously, I have a black son, and so we also saw more police pullovers and more police brutality against black people. So that kind of unnerved me as well. And then my mother, she's a police officer, and she's been for 25 years. And so we also started seeing ambushing on police officers as well.
In
So
Buffalo?
not in Buffalo so much, but just nationwide.
Yeah.
And so my mother ended up having a stroke while she was driving. She's a diabetic, and so her sugar crashed. She ended up having a diabetic stroke. And so when that happened, it was like the last straw, and I really tried to search for something that would do exactly what I wanted it to do. And a regular dash cam really wasn't there. I wanted something a lot more real time, something that would notify me immediately if something was to happen. And then I wanted my own evidence in real time in case anything was to happen. So we began to develop the product.
So what is it exactly?
We call it the Smart Driver's Companion because it's more than a dash cam. It's really a device that can work across all verticals. So say for the consumer side, whether it is a parent who wants to just keep an eye on their child or to try to proactively stop a tragedy from happening. They might be texting, but if you can watch them, maybe check in for a second, you could stop that behavior. Also, if teenagers know they're being watched, they will drive a little bit more safely.
Yeah. If my mom was watching me, I probably wouldn't have done so many burnouts. Why the tire is dead?
Yeah, I can tell you my son was not happy at all when I did that.
Of course, my mom's the one that's going to come up with this idea. And take
Yeah,
the
he
whole and all this stuff.
wasn't happy. But even for police officers, it could work so that supervisors can watch their officers remotely. And so it's almost like a virtual partner in the police car. So it would be able to capture any incident that was to happen with the police officer, more so than a body cam, because it would be able to capture the inside of the vehicle as well as the outside at the same time and in real time. And then for the commercial side, for Ubers, sometimes it can be a little weird to get in an Uber car. And so if you know that your friend or your loved one can watch you at any point, you might feel safer.
Yeah.
Or for the driver, you don't know who's getting in your car.
A lot of different routes to go with that.
Exactly.
We can protect
So
a lot
I
of
just
people
saw
in that.
today
Exactly.
on Facebook a video of a guy, an Uber driver that was fist fighting someone else.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I feel like that doesn't happen.
I feel like I've almost fought a Uber driver or two before.
I expect that to happen more often than it does.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But you know what? Assaults happen a lot. And not just with Uber, but with ride sharing, period. And
It's
When people are
dangerous.
drinking too.
yes. Oh my gosh. And so you want to be safe.
Also, some of the drivers for Uber, like I've gotten in cars where I shouldn't have. Like the car was like probably falling apart. The guy should not have had a license. And I'm just thinking like, well, I'm in the car now. I can't really do anything about it.
Turn it
It's
back.
just-
It would be
It's
nice to have somebody
free.
Hope
watching
your
your back.
seatbelts work.
Yeah.
Right.
But imagine if Uber
Has
mandated it.
airbags.
Imagine if someone like Uber were to mandate something like this.
Right.
First of all, it'd be huge for you, but it would be safe for their drivers
safe
and the
for
people
everybody.
getting in their
It
cars.
would give them the competitive advantage amongst their competitors because, it's really a concern across the board with whoever it is.
Agreed.
You know,
For sure, and I feel like that adds a lot of credibility to what they're trying to do as well. Or whatever.
Mhm.
That's cool. So, I mean, given that this is kind of the tech company, meets the utility. What's your background like, and how did you get the ball rolling?
My background is in business administration, so it has really nothing to do with this. But I really began this product, which a lot of people do, is out of the need and out of fear. So I just assembled a team of the right people who can do what I can't do and what I don't know.
People you knew previous, or people you reached out to and did a lot of research for?
Yes, people I knew previously. People I reached out to. Building the team was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. That was... first of all, I didn't have a ton of money to start with. And so you want to get people to work with you for free. It's just hard. And then keep them
sell the idea.
Interested.
I had to do that too to grow my team. We didn't pay our team. And
That's right.
went out to our developer and said, hey, this is our idea. You kind of just sell them on this goal that, we're going to do this. It's going to be amazing. And
they're just following you. And so they believe in you, really, is what it is. And so that's it's a lot of pressure. But, I went through several teams, and then I finally got the one together that was able to stick it out and really believe in the product. So, that's how we came together, and it wasn't easy, but,
making it happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So what's the price point for something like this? And is there only more than one model?
There will be. I mean, we have ideas going forward. I don't want to disclose everything that we have, but so depending on what market we're talking about, when we say the commercial market, it's almost like a lease program, almost like how you get an iPhone. You don't have to pay for it up front, but you have your monthly recurring fee that you're going to pay for it. So that's how we would do it with the commercial industry, truck drivers or fleet managers.
Right. And it would come with software that links right up to it?
And the software, yes. And then so you would also get your software updates, and if the actual hardware updated, we would, update that as well. But you would be locked into a contract.
Yeah. And is it cloud-based? So like you go on the website, all your recordings will be there, and how much recordings will be there? Will be every second that you're driving?
So that was really one of the issues we were playing with, is because we wanted to be able to control the data. And so you're not just obviously running your data charges up. Right. So you have an option. You can live stream what you'd like. So when you're looking at your application, you would see a thumbnail print of the last packet of data that was sent to the cloud. So whatever that last frame is, you would see. And if you wanted to live stream it, you would push play and you would live stream. And that way you can control your own data.
Cool. That's a good option, because a lot of people, they get a lot of backlash if you jumped right into that.
That's right. It's because, live streaming all day, every day in your car.
That's a lot of data, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine the storage capacity you have to have.
Right. So we store it for 3 days, and then the user has 3 days to either delete it, delete it, save it to their own computer, or it'll automatically delete off the server.
Okay, so that way you're not storing a ton of data for no reason.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
I couldn't imagine someone like YouTube, what their buildings look like for data storage.
Or Amazon or anything.
That's why they build old in the middle of nowhere, and they take up whole fields of places.
Some videos, like the ones we recorded, if I upload the podcast in 4K, it's like 128 gigabytes.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah. And that's the max you can
hours
upload.
Of uploading. Get out of here.
That's the max you can upload to YouTube. So you got to picture how many videos you see on YouTube. Like I have videos there for 15 years, 10 years.
Me too, from early high school.
There's storage.
Don't search them.
Yeah, that's nuts. I wouldn't know we're going
to. We went through a phase where we made a lot of YouTube
searching
videos.
Right now.
Yeah, what's your username?
Right.
The original podcast from 2008.
Oh, you had another podcast before
2008.
this. Okay.
Yeah, freshman year. That was a good time.
Was it a good podcast?
Where do you think I found the passion from?
I know. Well, me and Oscar were going to do this podcast, and John came over one day, and we were just talking, and I was like, I just want to do the podcast now, because Oscar's really busy, and
glad you could be here today.
Yeah, let's just record the podcast right now. I'll be on. So I was like, all right, John, you're on board. Let's do it.
There you go. Crushed it. Match made in heaven.
But it's nice, though, because me and Oscar are, like, in business with everything together. So it's nice to have something with someone that isn't
Oscar
all the time.
Dang, heard him. That's funny. So it's cool you have a good background. You're working in tech. I know we talked a little bit about there's not many women in tech.
No,
what's it like, being the minority of the tech industry?
I'm always the minority in the tech industry.
You crush it though.
Right.
That's all that damn matters.
Yeah.
It's sometimes I forget that I'm the only woman at the table. I'll just be sitting there and we'll have business meetings. My team for a while was all men, and it just happened to be that. But it can be overwhelming. It can be intimidating, but there's such a movement right now with women that it's very empowering.
It's awesome.
And so it just keeps us moving forward. So
I see a lot of like piggybacking off of, and this one thing that I love, it's always like everybody's building each other up, this whole movement. Yeah. Like everybody that's made it always like trying to pull everybody back up too. Yeah,
it's great. But it's male dominated. And so it can be intimidating, and especially when it comes to funding, we are underfunded. I think we get maybe 30% of what our white male counterparts get. Really? So it makes the job of a startup that much harder. Right. But it makes you work harder. So, I don't really complain about it. I wish it could change, and it will change, I'm sure. For sure. But it's definitely an uphill battle.
But it's people like you breaking the ice, so.
Thank you.
What's that saying that we always say? You can complain about it, or you can do something about it.
Exactly.
Right.
Complain about it, do something about it. Mm-hmm. But I feel like a lot of times if you don't even think about it, and like you were saying, sometimes you don't even notice that you're the only woman in the room. Like that's an awesome feeling. That means that it's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it also means that most of the time the people in the room are very respectful. But
with the times.
It's definitely still male dominated, and you feel it. There are certain things men will say to me that I know you would not say to another male. So it's like, okay, but I think I command my respect well. So
you've never seen our conversations. I'm just joking. Just joking.
So you touched a little bit. Oh, you question. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I want to hear about your past, because I know that you've had some cool stories. What led you to Watchdog? Because I know it wasn't your first thing. So what other experiences that you've had that have gotten you to Watchdog? Right,
more so not just Watchdogs, I think like being an entrepreneur in general.
Yeah.
What made you say, okay, I'm going to be the one that does this? I'm not going to wait for anybody else to do it.
I think that, and my brother always talks about this, that I've always been this way as far as finding a problem.
Did you have the lemonade stand?
That was me. Like if I saw a problem, I am trying to solve it. So, and then just being an entrepreneur, period, as far as wanting to be in business for myself. I used to, I always tell the story because I brought Kevin Hart here to UB before.
No, I guess everybody probably thanks you. Thank her.
Well, I'll tell you, I brought Kevin Hart and Michael Blackson, and I don't know if you know AJ Johnson from the first Friday movie, but I brought those three here. And so I was doing comedy shows. I was, trying to dabble in that. Mm-hmm. But it was when Kevin Hart, I literally paid $5,000 for him. 2-3 months later, he just blew up, and I was like, he's like 200,000. This was before this was in 2006. Yeah, that I brought him. So maybe a few months later, he just skyrocketed. It was so crazy. It was like, whew,
that's awesome.
Got him in.
I know. Thank God, right? You got him in before he was.
He went to like $200,000 for a show.
D-Ray was here last night.
Yeah, and so is Bill Bellamy tonight. I think he's at the comedy club.
Yeah.
Check out Tiki if you're trying to find any of these events, by the way.
Kevin Hart.
Perfect opportunity there.
Exactly.
Yeah, Kevin Hart blew up.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's cool. What's it feel like to be, to know that? Because, for entrepreneurs or myself, we work really, really hard. And when you get that one little, piece of, accomplishment, what's that feel like to have something big like that? Because I'm sure, you were working this, and then.
Yeah, with that was fun. With Driver Watchdog, though, I really experienced, and I really try to celebrate every single milestone and achievement.
Because it goes by so fast. With the team, too, because, everybody's taking care of it.
Yeah, exactly. And really celebrate them because, whatever happens, we've all done it together. And we've had some good things happen. Being chosen for South by Southwest when we were such a young company. That was amazing. And then we actually got the show, A&E saw us there, which is what led us to the reality show. President Obama doing South by South Lawn and inviting us to represent up-and-coming entrepreneurs there. That was just an amazing experience and acknowledgement.
Those are awesome accomplishments
for the hard work, you know? And so while it doesn't always necessarily translate into, the growth of the company, it's still things you want to celebrate. It's recognition
for your hard work.
Right. Yeah. And so that's why I love doing things like this in Buffalo and all the Buffalo press that we get because and I'll always do it because it's like, this is my hometown and this is what means the most
exactly.
That being said, do you think you're going to stay here? It's a little colder right now. Right?
I know.
Push comes to shove, you guys grow.
Honestly, I don't know. Atlanta has been so good to us, to Driver Watchdog. Yeah. They've plugged it in with so many people. We talked to Ludacris. He also has a startup called Roadie, which is like
That sounds really familiar.
It's like ride sharing, but for companies. So it's a really dope product. But anyway, he so we were in talks with them, and that all came from Atlanta's the Chamber of Commerce, and so they've really been really supportive of us.
So do you have a connection before you got into Atlanta, like in Atlanta, that was like, okay, we're going to start here, or just organically happened?
It's just organically happened. A lot of things happened at South by.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Right.
It was really, made so many connections there. Even at South by South Lawn at the White House,
right?
We just made a lot of connections there. So Atlanta just organically said, we're really supporting Black female founders in tech.
Yeah.
Come join our ecosystem, but I haven't left yet. So, because Buffalo's like, well, we can help you there too.
It's always like that, though. Like, once you threaten to leave, they try to get you back.
Yeah. But, Buffalo, I started here. The Buffalo Urban League gave me, when I first started at Startup Weekend down at the Innovation Center before all of that stuff was down there, the Urban League believed in me, and they gave me $30,000 just to start. And I didn't even know the Urban League gives money for startups.
Like, here we go.
National Grid did the same thing, and I definitely didn't know the power company gave money for startups. Yeah, they gave me a minority technology grant.
Huh.
And who knew?
Nice.
I had no idea.
Awesome, right?
So
how do you even apply for that? Or they just like found you?
One of the main pieces of advice I got from here when I first wanted to see if Driver Watchdog was even a thing that could happen or could start, I went to UB. They directed me to the Urban League, but UB told me, make everybody in this town know who you are and what you're doing. And I did that, and once that happened, people were just coming to me with different things, and you should apply for this, and you should apply for that. So, yeah.
Do you think that's a good advice for anyone, even if they're not in Buffalo, just to get out in your hometown and try to meet as many people as you can in the industry?
Absolutely. So for Driver Watchdog, I'm the little guy. I mean, there's Garmin out there, big, dash cam company or something, or Verizon or whoever that can come in and probably squish me. But our strategy, just like Ring.com, is they made so much noise, and they came in, their marketing was so on point, you really couldn't turn on the radio without hearing a Ring.com, commercial. So yeah, you make whether you're the little guy or not, you make so much noise and let people know what you're doing that they can't ignore you. And
it's
then
like movement watches, like you see them everywhere.
Right. So if anything, they might want to buy you.
What was the first jump where, you kind of went from small time to crossing that threshold where it started to expand to a bunch of people? What was like the thing you did? You're getting all these grants and stuff like that. There had to have been one thing that you did to reach out to, or one connection you reached out to that kind of helped spread the wildfire.
I don't know if it was one as opposed to a lot. It was like, I am a hustler. So I am grinding in the trenches, grinding.
Because I feel like this is like what a lot of our viewers, and I was at that point too, where, you can only get so far before you have to actually, start making bigger moves. Yeah, the traction is everything, but it's like without money, how do you get traction? So it's almost like a catch-22. And so I was pitching literally at any and every competition I could possibly get into, all around the country, which is how I even kept this company going with the pitch money that I was winning in order to, because I didn't have funding. My idea, Driver Watchdog, was a little bit before the time. So people weren't on to the fact that you can have 4G connectivity within the vehicle, and it wasn't there yet. So they were kind of slow to jump on board with it.
So when did you start this?
2014.
So
around the end of 2000.
So how many pitches have you done?
Oh my God, I don't know. Maybe I probably did 10 a year for the past 3 years. So maybe 30, 35.
All over the country?
Yeah.
How many have you won?
Probably 19, I think I've won out of those.
That's crushing.
Yeah, I know.
Even $100,000 that I was able to put right into the 10,000 here, 5,000 here, 20.
That's a real common theme we've been seeing with a lot of our people we bring on, is that they're doing these pitch competitions.
It's hard because you have to know which ones to do, because you don't, unless you're protected, and we had our IP already filed and everything, so we were comfortable doing it. But
are you pending? Or
we're still pending.
You're still pending.
Yeah, we are still pending. But we were comfortable enough pitching that, because you have to be careful. You might have a really good idea, and then people come to these pitch competitions and just feel able to do that. So, which is why you want to make as much noise, because I've been doing this. So.
Exactly right. They associate you with it.
Right.
So don't half-ass try to go out. Either go all out or just keep quiet if you're coming out with a new product, you think?
Right, until you're ready to go.
That's right.
We'll
until
make
you're
that
ready
mistake.
to let everybody know what you're doing.
So 19 out of 30, what do you think is one common theme that, you did to help bring them home?
I studied pitching. I mean, I've studied so many pitches. Guy Kawasaki, I've studied him so much. I don't know if there's one thing. I think people resonate with people want to be safe while driving. I think they understand the product. The
passion you put behind it when you pitch
it. Right. They definitely understand that. And depending on the
right? It's just selling the need.
It is. It's selling the need. It's and it depends on the crowd I'm talking to. So if I'm talking to employers, their need is different, and that's what I'm going to be pitching towards them and bring what the value of Driver Watchdog would bring to them.
So your pitch changes every time.
It does. I'm pitching every day, all day, every day to everybody. So it definitely changes depending on who I'm talking to.
So you found it hard at first, and I'm guessing, and you slowly got into it, or were you just a natural great at pitching?
No, I sucked. I was so bad.
Natural at anything.
No, I was so
know.
bad. I
think you can make it a little further with some charismatic and stuff, but.
I was like sweating. Oh my God, it was so embarrassing. I swear to God, I probably sweat through my.
You gotta get uncomfortable to get comfortable.
So bad. Yeah, and I used to throw up right before I get on stage. Like it was bad.
Did you win your first one?
No. Oh God, no. I think it was like I think it was like a 6-minute pitch, and I think I finished in like a minute and 30 seconds. Like I just ran through the pitch, and the person who was doing the slides was like, "I don't know where you are." I'm just like, no, definitely didn't win that one.
I've done that.
Everybody's first pitch is kind of all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So how many pitches in do you think it took for you to get comfortable?
I don't know if I'm still comfortable, actually. I think that pitching keeps me on my toes, so I will always do it. And I'll just push through that uncomfortableness, but I still get butterflies. I still,
that's
get
fun.
nervous.
In order for
it's adrenaline.
In order for you to grow, you need to be uncomfortable.
You have to. You have to just step out that comfort zone and do things that you wouldn't normally do, and so that's definitely how I do it.
Sorry, what would be your favorite tips you would say for pitching for people listening?
Don't talk too fast. Is number one. Don't
use the whole time.
Use all of your minutes. I think that your passion has to come through. You can't seem scripted. I've judged pitch competitions. I am teaching a pitch competition now at the university, and plus I've pitched. So it's really don't talk too fast and understand. You have to understand what you're trying to get the audience to understand. Yeah. What are you asking from them? Are you asking them to believe in your product? Are you asking them to buy it? Are you asking them to invest? What is it? And then you have to really tailor your pitch around that so your message is consistent and it comes across clear.
That's a good tip.
Awesome.
What do you think, kind of, you mentioned a couple minutes ago a lot of cool things that you did. You started South by Southwest. That's big.
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
You got invited to South by South Lawn, which is, Obama threw that at the White House. That's cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Tell us listeners about the White House experience. That was cool. I know you mentioned something before the podcast. That's pretty cool about Obama.
So, everybody blocked me on Facebook because I literally lived the whole time I was there. The whole
Everybody got a notification.
Every single time. It was I was there for 8 hours. And so it was they were so annoyed with me. But that was amazing. I got this beautiful letter from the White House that Christian, you are invited by President Obama. Would love to personally invite you to White House. So I was super psyched about it. When I got there though, I walked in and right before I got to the Oval Office, you could hear he was playing music and he was playing Tupac. And it was
Obama was playing Tupac?
He was playing Tupac in the White House.
In the White House.
Wow.
In the White House.
Yeah.
And so it was just this moment for me, because I'm probably not ever invited back there now. But
really?
but
sweet while it lasted.
Yeah, it was great while it lasted. I got to just embrace that this is my president.
Right.
So it was
That's awesome. It's I didn't know that about him, that he could blast or he would blast.
He can do whatever he wants.
But, I would do the same thing. Range of music. It just happened when I walked in.
Right.
That was what was playing.
That's
so
cool.
it was just I have it all.
I love that
because
you can resonate with
probably
it so
the
much.
first and only time the White House is bumping.
Ever.
Yeah, right.
Barbecuing on a lot of
So what did you get invited there for, and what did you do while you were there?
He invited 100 entrepreneurs across the country to come, and I think because he was at the South by Southwest event the year before that he wanted to kind of recreate something for entrepreneurs.
Right.
So when we got there, there was a lot of children entrepreneurs in school, which was great.
Yeah.
Who was it moderating? Phil Dunphy from Modern Family. I forgot his real name, but he was moderating. Michelle, we ate from her garden, like all this healthy food. Yeah. It was amazing. His chief of staff was there. There was a lot of White House cabinet members there, and it really wasn't about the products that we were selling. It was really celebrating entrepreneurship, you know?
Right.
And so it was just an amazing networking event. And then him and Leonardo DiCaprio, Common, and I think there was somebody else there. They were doing just open talks, just, you know, really personal and just talking to people and just mingling. So it was just
So you got to talk to both of them?
I didn't get to speak to Obama. We got to, like, personally, he was speaking to us as a group. Like, there was, like, 10 of us. So he was speaking to us as a group. But not personally to him, which sucks because I was like...
Yeah.
And actually, I probably would have went for Michelle first because I just love her.
Everybody loves Michelle,
But, yeah, that was a great time. And again, it wasn't anything high pressure. It was just, like... celebrating entrepreneurship.
What was everybody wearing? A weird question. Were they wearing suits or were they more like casual?
It was so casual, and they gave us these blankets so everybody was like laying on the lawn. Oh my god, I got the best picture of like the White House right behind me, lit up, and I'm just laying on the lawn, just chilling.
Oh, killer.
Yeah. And because it was the lawn, you know, there was no heels or anything. They were just like wear sneakers, wear flats because we were on the lawn. So it was amazing.
That's cool.
So, it seems like you're around a lot of cool people. I want to know the top 5 celebrities that you've met. Is that something you can do?
That's pretty... Okay, let me think.
At least top 3.
Because I know you have probably at least like 30.
Well, okay, so
Kevin
celebrities. Kevin Hart was cool. Yeah, he was actually pretty
He's
funny.
not top 5?
He's definitely a top 5. I was around a lot of people. I used to work for Nas. So Nas is definitely one of my top people.
Worked for Nas. That's exciting. Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Was, you know, I'm telling you, I'm a go-getter. It was crazy because I was like, he came here for a concert, and you know, so there was a whole bunch of girls obviously trying to throw themselves in him, and I'm just like walked up to him. I'm like, listen, I'm not a groupie. I just want a job.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's what I did. And he was just like, he started laughing, and I was like, oh, I swear to God, just want a job. Like whatever you need, I will do this.
Right.
And so, I remember
you can't tell me it was that easy.
No. So his brother Jungle, he was just like, we clicked. And so, I snuck on his tour bus. And so.
You're not a groupie, but you stuck on it.
Okay.
With my clothes on. I'm not a groupie. No, I snuck on the tour bus because I'm like, no, he's going to give me a job. I've loved Nas for like ever at that point.
Yeah.
And so, I was like in the back room of the tour bus, and the bus left and it went to Syracuse. And then I like came out and I'm like, hi, I'm here now. So it's like, so then we went to Syracuse. He had a concert. I don't know where they went next, but I flew down to Florida because I knew they were going to Florida. I'm like, okay, because
you were chasing this.
No, because let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you why. Because his brother was giving me the impression. He was like, "No, he loves you. I'm telling you, just be persistent, and he's gonna give you a job." So him telling me this,
he's whispering.
So that's why I'm like, okay.
Brother, right.
So I'm like, okay. I got to Florida, and we met up, and finally he was just like, you know what? Like, you're not going away. Okay, I'm gonna give you a job. He gave me the credit card, Sony credit card. He was like, find me something to wear, and so I went.
That's the first thing.
That was the first thing. He was like, he was trying to make a job for me. He was just like, find something for her to do. And so he was like, find me something to wear. So I did that. I dressed them. They had some really fly outfits on. He liked it. And then from there, I just like never left.
Do you think that was a test? Like, if she comes back with some weird clothing,
yeah, like she's out of here.
Find a way home.
Definitely a test. If she spends like $10,000 on herself, it's a test. Yeah. So I was like, all right, let me just buy it. So exactly.
Just never go back.
I just love the persistence though.
Oh yeah,
so
it shows
from Nas,
you can tell that's transitioned into your, where you're at
life.
Now. Yeah, for sure.
It was
it's
great.
not stalking if it works.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I tell everybody like I will stalk you for what I want. So just to know that. But yeah, I met Suge Knight. I met Alicia Keys. I met everybody through Nas. Like everybody.
Nice.
Wow. Are you still connected with a lot of these people?
Depending on what they're doing, like Mobb Deep, Havoc, now. So I, not like on speed dial or anything, but I know him. It just depends. Like, there's people in the industry that might not be like the celebrities that are behind the scenes that I still keep in touch. Yeah. Some of the connections at Sony and things like that. So
use any of these people to your network to help drive your businesses?
Oh yeah. Well, Nas has a venture company now, so I just wanted to get into position where I will be.
I actually was looking at when Jay-Z first started his. Like he was like last year, I think. He just put it out. I was looking into getting into it, but he hasn't really launched it at that point.
He hasn't. I mean, there's so many people. A lot of celebrities want to diversify their money, and
like Chameleonaire, you don't even hear about him no more, but he's chilling.
What's he doing?
Oh yeah,
he has a venture company.
Yeah,
military
absolutely.
money. I'm trying to get that military
absolutely.
money.
So I mean,
sports players. You see all these sports players that are entrepreneurs now. Same with.
Well, they're learning because you see all these people that retire and they go broke because they haven't done anything
else to do with their money. Exactly. So we're targeting a lot of those people. A lot of people have teenage driving kids who they want to keep safe. So we're targeting.
It's good that it comes with a deep need, and you've seen the problem, it touched your soul. So, it's good that you're the one driving it.
Oh my gosh, yes. We've gotten so many people who send me cars of their kids who might have passed away in a car accident or something like that, or who are just thank you so much. if this was around, we would definitely use it. So
that's amazing. That touches.
It's definitely worth it. Makes it worth it.
For sure. Does that help your drive a little bit more, knowing that there's people now behind you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always say, if we save one life, that's success for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
So it would be make it or break it in a court case.
Oh, yeah. Insurance, court cases, no matter who's at fault. So you definitely, I always say the truth is in the proof. You want your own evidence, your own proof. You don't want to leave it to a cell phone happening to pick it up. So
for sure.
So where do you see yourself in 10 years, and how do you counter the fact that many technology is moving towards driverless cars?
So in 10 years, this is first generation of what we're trying to do. We really want to move into public transportation space and even into the air space, aircrafts into planes, so that we're not, looking for black boxes and things like that. Yeah. But that's down the line. I mean, in 10 years, my ultimate goal is to do something to help women who've been in domestic violence situations and kids. So somewhere along this line, Driver Watch will get me to that path some way, somehow. Right. But, eventually when it's all said and done, when I settle down, I'll probably be working with children.
I could see this being really helpful on a school bus for children.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of stuff that goes down in the back seats.
Oh my gosh, with the drivers and the kids.
And the worst even bus public driver, buses he didn't do anything.
Yeah. No, it's true. They don't.
Lazy ass Frank. I'll never forget him. He was so lazy. Kids were getting beat up in the back of the bus, lighting things on fire. Frank's cut it out and pulling the bus over. Yeah,
they're supposed to watch the road, though.
But if the kids know they're on camera and that it can go back to the
it can stop bullying. It can stop bullying. If you can watch your child on the bus, whether they are the aggressor or the one who's getting bullied, you can stop that. You can immediately.
Absolutely. Parents use that. They had a guy I work with. I also do a side job where I'm serving, and the guy I work with has his child's nursery school or whatever has cameras everywhere, so he's always watching it on his phone.
I do too.
And he said one time they left the kid in his high chair for an hour and a half, just hanging out after he was done eating, and he called him up, noticed that he's still in the high chair, what are you doing?
God, crazy.
So anything like that, right?
No, yeah, my daughter's daycare has the same thing. I can look in at any time and see her. That's the peace of mind that we're trying to bring to driving, because
exactly.
I mean, I don't know what I would do if I couldn't do that. This day and age.
Just worry.
I remember when I was in 5th grade, there was this kid. It was the last day of school, and we're all excited because we're getting to, we're going to home and we're off for the summer. This kid from the backseat throws a lollipop, hits the bus driver right in the back of the head. Bus driver goes, "Okay, I'm going back to school." This kid jumps right out of the back of the bus at 30 miles per hour. The exit door in the back? He opens the exit door, jumps out, and we have to go back to school for an hour or two. And for us to tell, he jumped out the back.
That is crazy.
He didn't want to go back to school.
No, he didn't want to. Well, he threw the lollipop, so he didn't want to get in trouble for something.
But you're going to jump out of a moving, a moving bus?
We used to throw caps, the thing.
Driver?
Kids are bad.
Not the driver. Not me.
Kids are bad. And then so the driver is supposed to be able to drive the bus safely and
manage the kids.
Deal with the kids in the back.
How are they supposed to do that?
No,
some of them were 60 passengers?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I don't know how they do it. And I feel bad for bus drivers. I remember bus rides I've been on, looking back now, I was young then. But what some of the kids were doing back then to those bus drivers.
And imagine today, they're even worse.
They're definitely worse.
Yeah, they're eating Tide Pods.
Yeah, they're eating Tide Pods.
The kids that eat Tide Pods.
This is a challenge. Like, what?
We got a lot of problems to solve with this
Oh
one.
my god.
Yeah.
Any other good, you think, tips or lessons that our viewers that are in the same stage as we are might, take away from your...
I would just say, be persistent. I had a lot of no's, and I had a lot of, people who said, oh, you can't do this and you'll never like infiltrate insurance companies and stuff. But, little old me is sitting at the head of the table with Uber and State Farm came to me and Michelin came to me. So ignore the haters, ignore that and just keep going if you believe in what you're doing.
A lot of those people that say stuff like that are ones that either they care so much about you they don't want to see you hurt and fail, or they just get really jealous.
Or they're just haters.
Yeah, and they don't want to see you succeed because they are not happy with their lives.
Or they don't understand.
Or
not everybody's an entrepreneur, and you really cannot make people into an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That's true, right? Yeah.
You can't. It's either you are or you're not. And if you are, you understand that every single day you have to get up and make it happen.
Right.
There's no blueprint. There's nobody telling you what to do. There's nobody making you do it. You have to just be self-disciplined enough to do it every single day.
Do you know what NO stands for?
No.
Next opportunity.
Exactly.
They always come with like all these like little.
Yeah, he
like,
does. He's the guy that comes up with all the quotes.
Exactly.
David
Everybody
John
in
said,
suits works
what
for
did he
somebody
say?
in sweatpants. My favorite.
He said, Damon John, he said, a no is an absolute maybe. What did he say? Oh, I don't regret my failures. They're what made me. A no is an absolute maybe. Like you just don't, you just don't accept the no's. And so that's exactly, you have to have that thick skin and that grit in order to
You at least have
push
to get
forward.
told no twice in a deal before you can get that third.
Yeah.
That yes.
And
I
Oscar,
cry like every day.
Yeah.
About something.
I try not to. But Oscar and I are doing some crazy stuff with our other partner, and like everyone along the way has told us like that's impossible, you can't do it. But like we've done some crazy stuff we can't talk about on the podcast. But like stuff that I wouldn't even have looked like 2 years ago, I would have been like, that's impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you believe in it, like nowadays with technology and like the way the internet is, you can get in front of people that you thought you never would.
You absolutely could.
Yeah.
You could. And
No
I think
excuses.
it's the power of putting your mind to something. You just, and those no's drive you. If you're competitive like me, like that's just like a challenge.
Do you ever play
it's
sports?
like, okay.
Or are you naturally competitive?
No, I definitely played sports. I went to Narden Academy. I don't know if you know where that is, but it's a all-girls private school in Buffalo. Yeah. And so, I played like every sport there was.
Right.
I was gonna say, I could tell you're competitive.
Yeah.
I don't know why,
my
but you
God.
just have that like very like
Well,
aggressive,
exactly
like not in a
it is.
bad way, in a good way. So I could tell you're
I
definitely competitive.
And well, I'm a mother too, so it's like I kick ass all the time.
Yeah,
You
right.
definitely-
That's it, right. Kick ass at all times.
You've done
in every
some
aspect.
amazing stuff. Like
That's cool.
this is really cool
Really
story.
happy to have you on the podcast.
Oh,
I
thank
think
you. This
our
is
viewers
super
and listeners
fun.
will get a lot out of it for sure.
So where can people check out? Oh, actually, no. Before we close this, I want to talk about your TV show you're just on.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
We
Who
never
knew
brought
you
that
were
up.
on TV,
The
right.
biggest highlight. So recently,
Duh.
I'll let you talk about it.
Rooster and Butch. So was it you that said you watched it?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
The
so
Texas Investors Club on
Yeah.
A&E,
West
yeah.
Texas. So I did too. Like last year, I was flicking through and it was on CNBC, and I remember watching for 5 minutes only. I was just like, they're so redneck. They would never
Oh, and
invest
if it
in
was
somebody
real,
like me.
if not, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I'm like, they're not going to invest in me.
Yeah.
And so to be sitting across from them a year later was just so surreal to me. It was just like, because I just knew these type of guys would never understand what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
But
Did they?
yeah, they did. And A&E saw me, I think, pitching at South by Southwest, and they reached out to us and like, hey, would you want to be on this reality show? And I thought they were lying. But
Probably thought it was a
yeah, I
scam
thought it
at
was a
first.
joke.
Yeah.
And so I went through the series of interviews and auditions and stuff, and finally, like, they never told me who I was auditioning for, like what show it was. No, I had no idea.
You just knew it was a reality show.
Until I landed, though.
Okay.
Like, I had no idea. So they just called me up, and like at the beginning of August, like, hey, we've got you plane tickets. You're going to fly out to Texas. That's all we can tell you. Don't wear heels. And I was like, wait, what? And so they flew me out there, and the minute I landed,
That's kind of sketchy, though, don't you think?
it was very sketchy,
It's like
and
how-
it was in the middle of Hurricane Harvey.
It's
So
how
I was
people get-
flying to Texas, and I was like,
going into a hurricane. Like, what am I doing right now?
And then they didn't want to. And then like just somebody will pick you up in a van at the airport. I'm like, it was a little.
That's really sketchy.
It was, and I don't know if you've ever seen Odessa, Texas, but there's nothing, and there's definitely not none of me. So I was like, oh my God. So when I landed, when I flew, I had to check my prototype because the airline couldn't identify what it was. So they're like, just check it. So I landed. No, they when I landed, my bag went through and they broke the prototype.
Oh no.
Snap.
Yes. And so like the second I landed and just saw my bag, I'm like, oh shit. And the camera started rolling. Like there was a guy, they jumped out of like a white truck, a white van, and it was just cameras rolling. So I'm in like, whatever I slept, it was like a 12-hour flight to Texas because I was
you weren't
rerouted
expecting
so many
it
times.
at all?
No. Like, oh my God. So yeah, they just started taping. And so I'm like, all right, fine. Now, I told the producers the minute I landed, I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? I'm like, my prototype is broke. What do you want me to do on the show? I'm like, I don't want to look crazy. So they're like, no, don't worry about it.
Roll with it.
Yeah, they're like, don't worry about it. You're going to be fine. Fine. Okay. So then the guys come in. And so I see who it is now. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I don't even have a product to show these guys. Like, so we were out there for a week and we did these series of challenges. And so they're oil guys and they have oil companies out there. So, I'm going through the motions and I'm like, this is how Driver Watchdog would work in your company and da-da-da. So, I put them, one of the days I put them through this obstacle course, this drunk driving obstacle course, just to simulate drunk driving. I mean, we had a ball. It was
that
so
seems
much
like
fun.
they would love that.
They had so much fun. These guys drink all day long. Yeah. Like, they don't stop drinking. They curse all day. I mean, they're so cool. They're super, hillbilly, but his son's name is Miller Lite. No joke. That's his name. Swear to God. Rooster McConaughey. It's Matthew McConaughey's brother. And so, his Margarita and Miller Lite are his kids' names.
That's wow.
But so,
Jesus.
the producers was like, yeah, it's fine. We're going to help you out. And so we were trying to simulate the product, like the video part of the product, because like the app worked. It was just the camera that was broken. And so they did all that. At the end of the day, they were filming all of this. And then they were like, oh yeah, we don't have any footage. So it was like the whole week was for nothing. And it was like, okay, so I went to the guys. And
what do you mean they didn't have any footage?
They didn't get good workable
They didn't
footage?
give any footage for me to be able to show like how the product would work for them. Which is what they were telling me the whole week. Like, no, we got it. We're going to simulate the product. You don't worry about it being broken.
Okay.
So I go into the negotiations, into like this Shark Tank type of situation. So we go in there. Barn. Yeah, exactly. And so now I'm just like, guys, my product broke. And they were like, what? So they were flipping out. Yeah, no, this was great. And so they were like, well, why didn't you tell us in the first place? I'm like, but the producers, they didn't want me to. And so at the end of the day, they were like, they understood the product. They understood why I invented it, and they saw the value for their own company. Right. And so, yes, they gave me the money.
Nice.
Do you let us say how much it is?
I got $250,000 to start.
Congratulations.
And then an open line of credit after that to bring us to market. Wow. And then plus whatever customers that they're able to bring to the table.
That's
so
awesome.
Now you can leverage their network of people.
Oh yeah. Yes. Well, I mean, but this is what they they had nothing to see, so they really invested in me, right? So when people say investors invest in the person, like that really spoke to they're investing in the person because I couldn't effectively show the product, right? So it was great.
That's awesome.
It was dramatic. Yeah, it was very dramatic.
That's so awesome. Yeah. If anyone's watching the video now, John pointed out before, this is not her prototype.
Oh.
No, that's something for a machine I have. It's a lubricant nozzle. No, it's just an idea we were talking about for a product.
Doesn't really look like that.
That's how prototypes are born.
Yeah, that's how prototypes are born. So, but yeah, so I think you have an amazing story, and congratulations on winning that.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, thank you.
I would love to see what comes from this.
Yeah. Where can our viewers, listeners find out more about you, find out more about your product, stuff like that?
They can go to mydriverwatchdog.com. I'm on all social media platforms. Facebook at driverwatchdog.com. Twitter, same thing. Instagram, same thing.
Awesome.
All right, cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Real pleasure having you. So much fun.
No, this was like the best because we had
drinks. Yeah. So from now on, we're going to have our guests choose what drink.
Right.
We'll make some
minus green smoothies.
This week was pina coladas. They're a little melted now. Mine's gone.
Very good, though. Who made these? You made them?
Yes.
Yes, very good.
From kind of scratch. I mean, it's not the mix, but you got pineapple juice. You could have went all out and just, went from raw, just pineapples and...
If Elijah was here still, or Monica, one of those health food companies, I'd do that.
Or you can just, why not just climb the tree and get the pineapple?
Yeah, we should have just took a pineapple.
Right?
Yeah, why not?
All right, well, thanks for coming out. It was a good podcast.
All right, tune us in next week, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
Money stacking up, talk trash, better back it up. I'ma make my money while they laugh at us.